My next guest rose to stardom as a Hollywood actor in the 1950s. His looks were to land him a role in the film Island of Desire, going on to cement his position as one of Hollywood's top young romantic leads. In the 1955 movie, it was a World War II drama called Battle Cry. His filmography is huge. His movies have included Damn Yankees, Meet Me in St. Louis, The Girl I Left Behind, The Burning Hills, and Sea Chase, just to list a few. The list is endless. He was a pop singer back in the 1950s. He's done the TV circuit. He's added to his CV just recently best-selling author for his published autobiography, Tab Hunter Confidential. It became a national bestseller. It's now on film and on DVD. My special guest in the program is Tab Hunter. Tab, welcome in.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nice to have you with us, pal. You're no stranger to Melbourne. You've been into Australia a couple of times now, and recently on a ship you were telling me off air.
That's right. I love Australia. In fact, I always thought I'd love to just get on a ship that did the whole continent, and I know that would take a long time, but that would be so exciting to just go completely sail around Australia.
Well, we have those tours available here, of course, and you can see all of that. You see all of the great ports of Australia and all the history we've got around here. I think it takes about 26 days from memory they do it. And
it would take 26 days?
Yeah, the Princess Cruises have them, so keep that in mind.
Well, of course, the thing is, I'd probably want to stop at each place for a day or so, at least.
Well, yeah, but they select the days. You see, you go to Sydney for a day, you're up to Brisbane, and then all around to Darwin, and you came back.
Sydney is a wonderful town. So is Melbourne, and so are Perth, the three that I visited, and Brisbane years ago, when it was just a small town. But those places, you want to spend more than just a day because it's quite wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, well, that's what you find on cruises. You get in there for a day, and unless they've got that stay over for the second day, you often don't see as much as you would really like to see. But anyway, you're welcome down here anytime. Anytime at all.
Well, I have a lot of horse friends, and of course they were down there for the Olympics, and that was quite wonderful.
Yes, you're right into horses, of course. I read all about that, and your love for the horses and your training with those too. Tell me, we've got a lot here to talk about in a very short space of time, so we must get into it. But Confidential, you came out with this wonderful autobiography of yourself. Now the DVDs are coming out. They're available in August, just a couple of days from now. I sat back on Netflix the other night and watched this documentary, and I was taken by, well, I was not even surprised, but to go back in your history, your wonderful movies you've made, the wonderful stars you've acted with among yourself, and your start in this industry yourself. Tell us about that wonderful start you got.
Well, actually, I was discovered as a stable boy. I was mucking out stalls, and there was an actor out there who was out there doing a photographic layout with Ann Blythe. His name was Dick Clayton, and he was the one who talked me into becoming an actor, and then later he introduced me to my first agent, and later he became a huge agent for people like Jimmy Dean and Jane Fonda and Burt Reynolds, and of course I was his first client, and because he was part of my family, and so that's where it all started. But I was so bad at the beginning, I could hardly read my new name off a piece of paper.
Because when you left school, you went into the Navy, didn't you?
I did. I lied about my age and went to the Coast Guard when I was about 15 and a half. And a year later, they got rid of me. They gave me a discharge for being underage.
But, Tab, that's possibly the best thing that ever happened to you. Because look what happened after that.
Well, it is in a way, because I was back in New York, and that's when I saw my first Broadway shows. And I thought, wow, that's exciting. I would like to try that sometime. Was
that the first time you came across that and had that desire, or was it something through your schooling that you were acting at school as well?
Well, I always loved movies. Back in those days, people were under contract. There were contracts in studios, so they had incredible people under contract, and I went to the movies all the time, and it was just sort of a dream. Wouldn't it be nice to be in motion pictures? But I had no idea that, luck plays such an important part in everything in our lives, and it certainly played an important part of my getting into the business.
Tab, in those early years, we look at Battle Cry. They're one of your great movies. Damn Yankees, I absolutely love that, and St. Louis.
I loved Damn Yankees. That was a lot of fun. It was a complete Broadway cast. I was the only outsider in it. And, Jack Warner bought that for me as a gift. He bought the Pajama Game for Doris Day and Damn Yankees for me. And all I can say, to this day, I can only say thank you.
You mentioned Jack Warner buying for you there. Now, if I can take you back, you went to record some songs, of course. You became quite a pop idol, too, we were talking about earlier. And Young Love
I did a tour with Natalie Wood. We did a few few films together. And we were in Chicago, and a disc jockey came up, heard me singing, and he said, "Did you ever think of singing? Would you like to record?" And I said, "Oh, I've always loved to. I sing in the shower. You don't sound too bad in the shower, but I'd be a nervous wreck."
Yeah.
And I used to sing in church on Sunday. So he put me in touch with Randy Wood of Dot Records, and he found a song for me after he heard me sing. It was Young Love.
That's it.
And it jumped up and became the #1 song in the nation.
Yeah, but of course you were recording those, but what I was getting at, Jack Warner became aware that you were recording songs, and he said, "You can't do this, you're under contract to me." And,
that's very true. Yes. Jack Warner said, "You can't record for Dot. You're under contract here at Warner Brothers for everything." And I said, "But Mr. Warner, you don't have a recording studio." And he
tell
said,
us the result.
"Well, we do now. We have a recording company, and you're our first recording artist."
Isn't that great?
And that's how it all started.
So Warner Records was set up because of Tab Hunter. There you are.
I can't believe it. Can you imagine it's such a huge company today?
Oh, absolutely. Look, your career went on quite steadily for quite a long time there. Many innuendos coming through your life as time went on, and we'll talk about those perhaps a little bit later. And as they came to be and your career went on, you then decided that you'd take a different row, and you thought, "I'll get away from Waters and go and do this thing by myself now." How did that work?
So I decided to what? I'm sorry?
Well, you're going to now produce yourself or go into movies by yourself rather than be associated with Warner.
Well, in actuality, I was at the end of the studio contracts, and those days were really difficult because Hollywood didn't know which way to go because TV was coming in such a large way, And then I just, when Hollywood's through with you, they just dump you, and I thought, I don't want to stop now. I really love the business. So I went on and did a lot of theater and worked in theaters all over the country, and then went into production and produced a few films and went on from there.
Now, a lot of that wasn't greatly successful, as we know, but you did make a great comeback as the time went on. And tell us about that comeback with some of those wonderful movies.
Well, the thing that happened, I was doing a play in Indiana, and I got a phone call from John Waters, and he said, "My name is John Waters. I don't know if you know me." And I said, "Gosh, I'm a major fan of yours." And he said, "Well, I've got a script I'd like you to do, but my films are a little different than the ones you've been doing." I said, "Well, why don't you send me the script?" Because I had everything to gain and nothing to lose. It was a script with Divine. And I read the script, and I said, "That sounds terrific." He said, "Oh, by the way, one question. How would you feel about kissing a 350-pound transvestite?" And I said, "Well, John, I'm sure I've kissed a hell of a lot worse in my life." And he was really wonderful, probably one of the best people I've ever worked for in my life. And Divine was certainly, without a doubt, one of my favorite leading ladies.
Now, that was Polyester. And
yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. And that introduced me to a whole new audience, really, because it was a whole new industry at that time.
That's right. And of course, Lust in the Dust came. You had Grease 2. You were in that as well.
Well, I love doing Lust in the Dust. It was an idea I had for years. I wanted to do a spoof of Hollywood westerns, and I played sort of a Clint Eastwood type character. And I originally I wanted to do it it was called The Reverend and Rosie, and I wanted Cheetah Rivera with it. And then I tried to get Shirley MacLaine to do it. Cheetah was tied up on Broadway. Shirley was tied up doing something else, and that's when my partner Alan said, "What about Divine? You worked with Divine in Polyester." I said, "What a great idea." And we'll have Lainie Kazan play Divine's half-sister. So that was a fun Western to do. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Lady Kazan is just marvellous.
Yeah, she's great character.
Absolutely. Now, you then went on in your life, of course, and did many, many great things, but you then felt it compelling to come out with a book, which you did, an autobiography called Tab Hunter Confidential. Why did you feel it necessary to come out with a book such as that?
Well, I didn't really want to at all, but Alan said to me, my partner Alan said, somebody's going to be doing a book on you, and I think you should do it. And I thought about it, well, who'd want to read a book on me? And I thought about it, and I thought, get it from the horse's mouth and not from some horse's ass after I'm dead and gone.
That's right.
Look, this is the journey. Here it is. And we're all fortunate to be on a journey, so let's make it the best journey we possibly can. And so I figured, look, I've got nothing to hide. This is the story of my journey.
And, of course, your journey started out, and a lot is unfolded in that autobiography. And, of course, it's shown, too, in the DVD that Alan has produced there for you, and it's absolutely wonderful. Now, you came across as wanting to tell the audience that you were gay and you openly came out about this.
Well, I didn't really want to tell it, but that was part of the story. You know, it's part of my life.
Yeah.
You know, people are always wanting to hang labels on you, and the first line in my book was, "I hate labels."
Yeah.
I don't like people labeling people. Oh, she's like that. Oh, he's like this. Or, you know, we're all human beings. The important thing is, yes, but what kind of a human being are you? That is important to me, and that's what I wanted to share with people. And so I did the book, and then we did the documentary a few years later. But I'm glad I did, because, you know, it was a whole different time and a whole different era in the movie business. I don't understand it today, and I don't really care to, because, you know what, I'm 85 years old, and I've been very fortunate and have a lot of thank yous to say.
Tab, do you miss those days on the screen?
No, not at all. It's a whole different ballgame now, a whole different business. I enjoyed motion pictures, but I also enjoyed the theater, being in the theater for years, and I enjoyed the days of live television. Those were amazing. Those were quite extraordinary.
Well, you were involved in those TV days, weren't you? The live.
Oh, and all of that. Yes, a lot of that stuff. In fact, I even had my own series for one short season, but it wasn't a very good series, and we were on opposite Ed Sullivan on Sunday night, which was an American institution on Sunday night. So that was kind of difficult.
Rather hard to grab the ratings off him, I suppose.
I think so.
Tab, if you were to do things again in your life, would you do them any differently?
You know, I don't try to plan things. I just go down the road and just say thank you and try to do the best I can mentally, physically, and number one, spiritually. I think that is our journey. That's a journey for all of us, and it's a very difficult journey.
Tab, you are a spiritual...
I think that's what I would want to do.
Good. You are a spiritual person, though, aren't you? I think I read that you do go to church.
It's a very, very important part of my life. It always has been. There was a period that I was away from Catholicism for a long while, but I'm glad I have returned, and I feel much, much better about that.
And you feel that plays a fairly important part in your life?
I feel it's a major part of my life. I think it's a major part of all of our lives, but unfortunately, in the society today, people want to sweep that under the carpet, and I don't think that's necessary. I think it's necessary to address things and go on from there.
Tab, my audience can get hold of your doco on Netflix, and it's simply called, like the book is too.
Yeah, it just came out on Netflix a while ago, and now the DVD will be coming out in a few days, I think.
That's right.
Sometime in August, I understand.
Yep. Now, you've got to autographed DVDs. They're available by going online.
Yeah, we'll do all that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And it's tabhunter.com, so my listeners can go to that site now, tabhunter.com. You will organise an autograph on those. You'll post them out and so on, so listeners can go online and buy that if they wish to.
Once the DVD comes out, and it should be this next month.
Yep, it's in August, so we're only a couple of days away from August now.
I know.
It's frightening, isn't it? So I'll mention that again, tabhunter.com. That's where you'll access the DVD, and it's called Tab Hunter Confidential. Now, I'd recommend this to you. It's about an hour and a half of compelling viewing. Tab, I was amazed. All the footage you've got in there, the things that you guys have put into this is just enormous. You brought back so many memories to me. I'm 69, and I grew up in the 50s and 60s, and that stage of going to the cinema like you did and watching you on screen and things. And it was a big part of our lives growing up, wasn't it?
Well, it was a whole era that was totally different than today. And I've got to tell you, Alan did a magnificent job of finding our director and then putting it together. He worked on it for 7 years.
Wow.
All I did was talk, but he put in all those wonderful film clips and the interviews with people, and I was thrilled that it's been so well received. You know, we've been to so many film festivals, and the response has been overwhelming, and I just can't say thank you enough.
Well, Tab, I thank you very, very much for giving up your time to talk to us here in Melbourne today. I know it's very warm where you are, it's cold where we are, so we should meet midway in the Pacific, and you have half of ours, we'll have half of yours.
Well, I'll tell you, I am very pleased to be talking to all of your audience down there, because I love Australia, and I want to come down there. I have a dear friend here from Australia, and she lives here in Santa Barbara, and we're always talking about going back down there. Her name is Kate Packer, and she's great fun, totally crazy, and I can't wait for her to show me all of Australia. the way I haven't seen it.
Well, we want you back down here, so you come back down and say hello to us, won't you?
I will do it. Thank you so much.
Lovely to talk to you, Tab. Tab Hunter there, my special guest on the program today.